everybody, how are you doing today? I'm doing really well, thank you. Today I'm going to be doing something quite fun, and I've not done this before. I was actually just doing this myself naturally. I was literally just thinking to myself, I need to build a new watercolour palette. And to be honest, I didn't think it'd be that interesting. I've never filmed this kind of thing before, but then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to film it. It might help somebody, I might inspire somebody, and I was doing it anyway, so I might as well film it. So what I'm going to be doing is testing all of my watercolor palettes out. I'm going to swatch all the colors that I have, that I own, and then I'm going to choose from those colors a select few that are going to be in my permanent watercolor palette that I take around with me. I feel like I wanted a new summer refresh of colours as well to feel more inspired. So what I used to do, I had a whole set probably of around 50 watercolours. I would take maybe 6 from those watercolours if I was going out or using it to travel with. But now I want a more permanent watercolour set I can take around with me all the time, with around 20 colours in, something like that, so I have more variety. Currently I am testing the Derwent Metallic palette. As I said that, I was like, is this gonna rhyme? Metallic palette. And I've never used it before. It's actually a gift and it is so beautiful. I really like it. The last 3 colours you might see there, the pink, purple and the graphite, they didn't really have much of a sheen to them. I'm not sure why that was. They didn't mix as well as all the other colours, so I'll have to go back and have a look at that. That was the first palette that I tested, and then the second palette I tested was the Gekuso. These are from a store in Ginza in Japan, and the store is over 100 years old, and they make these beautiful paints, and some of them have won colour awards. And I actually didn't realise, you can't see the bottom here, but right at the bottom there's a few colours there. There's Tyrian Rose, which is bright fluorescent pink, like it's the brightest watercolour I've ever seen or used, and beneath that I believe it's Cobalt Violet, I think it is the one that won the award, and it is this beautiful like pinky purpley colour. A very unique colour. You currently can't see it on screen, but you will in a minute. It's just under the Tyrian Rose. And then the ones I'm swatching now, these 3, these brilliant yellow, I think it's called brilliant yellow pink or something, is it? Bright light, brilliant yellow light, I think. And the pastel pink and the coral red below. These 3 I use religiously. Like, you might be able to see that the pan is really low, but I have refilled it like 3 or 4 times. The colour at the top as well, the compost blue, that one I really love as well. I use that all the time too. But I am excited to use some other colours and mix them together from other palettes. So now I'm going to test the Holbein ones, and I have 5 Holbein watercolours. And I picked these up because I use blue and pink all the time, and I was curious what other brands would be like. And this one is, the pink is called Brilliant Pink, and it is very similar to the other pink that I mentioned, the Brilliant Yellow light, I think it was called, but it's not yellow, it's pink. I don't know why it's called Brilliant Yellow. And then the third palette that I'm testing are the Winsor and Newton, and this palette is huge. It's absolutely massive. So what I did is, off camera, I did test the other colours as well, but I only tested on that piece of paper. I only tested some colours that I thought I might actually use, because there's like 5 or 6 different yellows, so I didn't test all the yellows, for example. So this is my little palette that I've chosen to use. Again, this was a gift, but I believe it was from Amazon, and you just buy it plain, you buy it empty, and it had got some gouache in it. I believe it was Holbein gouache from the Japanese collection. They did a collection of spring, summer, autumn, winter gouache, and my friend bought me this summer set, and it was beautiful, and I kept it in here. But I felt I wasn't utilizing the palette enough, because there is a row in the middle as well that you can add more to. So I thought, this is going to be my palette, and I'm going to squeeze as many watercolors in there as I possibly can. So I wanted to personalize this as well. So as you can see, I've stuck my little cloud sticker on there, and if you purchase anything from my shop, you will get this little cloud sticker as a little freebie. So if you've purchased multiple times, you might have multiple clouds. But it's my imagination cloud, so I thought, why not put it on my palette? I can't do anything without my imagination, so I carry around this little imagination cloud with me. That's kind of where the idea of this character came from. So I like to give an imagination cloud to you guys if you purchase anything from my shop. But I thought, what a perfect way to put him on the palette. Him, her, I don't know, it's just a cloud, but put it on the palette. And I wanted to write my name as well. And as you can see, I went back and forth with what stickers to use. I even got my new stickers out and decided maybe I should put these on because they're waterproof, so I can put them on the palette and they won't get damaged or anything. But I kept sticking more on, and I just liked the simplicity of the cloud and my name in the end. That was kind of how I just thought it looked the best. It was very simple. So that's how I kept it. So it's my name. I wrote it in Posca pen, and I love the way it goes with the pink as well, because pink tends to come up a lot in my artwork. It comes up a lot in my branding as well, because I just really love pink. Like, I think it's my favorite color. But if you look on my desk, like the majority of things that I own are pink, like little mugs and scissors, and especially like baby pink, pastel pink, I love. So now you might see my stickers and my own things that I made popping in and out of the screen, and that's because I'm trying to color match. So I have obviously created a palette without really thinking about it when I made my own designs, because I've obviously chosen colors that I like. So I want the palette to have those colors in it, so when I'm creating new designs, they actually will match the previous designs as well, or the colors won't be too far off the previous colors that I've used. And you might say, well, how come your current palette isn't made up of these watercolors? That's because I usually paint something out and then I do it on Procreate, and on Procreate I will change the colors a little bit and make sure it looks more coherent and kind of matches a style that I like. So as you can see, some of the colors here are not quite in my palette. Like the purple, I don't use a purple that deep, and the green as well, I don't use a green that deep. So you might be able to see there I added a little bit of white to make it a pastel green and a pastel purple, or a lilac if you like. So it matches my usual color palette a little bit more, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do going forward with my brand, is just have a more cohesive color series so that everything just looks nice together. If that makes any sense. I'm sure it does for people who love color things out there. Oh, and I just want to point out, I'm not somebody who polices art supplies. Like, I think get whatever you want to get, use whatever you want to get. It doesn't matter if they're not from the same palette, if they're not from the same set or anything. As long as you're enjoying it and you're using it, it doesn't matter. I'm really not one of those people that's like, oh, you can't mix Holbein with Gecko. Like, I'm not going to be like that. So as you can see, here's my mixture of my palette. I'm really, really, really happy with this. I am so excited to use it. It's almost like having a brand new palette. I feel like I've just gone out and bought a new watercolor set. So I definitely recommend you do this if you have lots of different watercolors lying around. Oh, and I just want to point out, I do have a beautiful lilac and a lovely green from Beam Paints, but unfortunately Beam Paints, they won't fit in here because they have their own little beeswax containers, so I'm really sad about that. But other than that, this is my finished palette. I absolutely love it, and I'll see you next week. Take care, everybody. Bye.